Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live stream. Lar from Complete Test Success here. Today, we're looking at General Training IELTS Writing Task 1. So if you're new to the live stream, let me just explain what we're doing. I'm going to share a question with you. I'm going to get you to write the various parts of the answer, and I'm going to give you feedback on your work. So basically, you'll share your work with me in the comments. I'll look at it, bring it up on screen, tell you any mistakes you're making, and then you'll know what mistakes to avoid in future. And by avoiding those mistakes, you will be able to improve your IELTS writing scores. So that's basically it. Today is, like I said, General Training IELTS. So if you're doing academic IELTS, this lesson is not going to be any benefit to you. So this is just for General Training students. Hi, Aman. I'm doing good. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing good too. Vince Shunt, hello to you. Welcome. Good to see you here. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write the greeting for the letter. And that obviously depends on what the question says. So we need to look at the question to determine what the greeting should be. So this is the question here. I want you to write the greeting, share it with me in the comments, and I'll be able to give you feedback on your answer. Okay, so that's the first thing. Write the greeting for the letter. So share that with me, and then we'll be able to get started. Amanur, hello. Welcome to the lesson. Hi, Vince. Thank you so much. Lovely to hear. Dimitri, dear Lar. Perfect. That works. So let me add that to our answer. Ooh. We're starting off our letter, dear Lar. And as Dimitri has noticed, it's an informal letter. We're writing a letter to a friend. So we're just going to use the first name. We're not going to use the surname. So dear, first name, comma, and that's our greeting done. All right. So as usual, I just want to make the question a little bit smaller so that we can see, we can focus on the information we need. Okay. So that's the first part of the letter started, dear Lar. So exactly what Dimitri said here. Next, what I want you to do is I want you to write the first sentence of paragraph 1. And the reason that I only want the first sentence is because I want you to respond directly to the prompt. The first prompt says, tell him or her how you learned of his or her plan. So don't just talk about the plan in general. Don't just talk generally about anything else. In the first sentence, I want a direct response. So the prompt says, how did you learn about this? And in the first sentence of your paragraph 1, I want you to say exactly how you learned. So don't talk about it generally and then say later on how you learned. Respond in the first sentence. So that's what I want from you guys now. Again, share your answer with me in the comments, and I'll be able to tell you if you're doing anything wrong or if it's okay. Hi, Hassan. Good to see you back here. Aman, hey, Lar, won't work because the question asked us to say dear. So we're just going to do what the question asked us to do. The question said, begin your letter with dear ... comma. So we just need to fill in the ... So hey, Lar is a very common way that we would talk to people. So it's definitely informal, but we're just going to follow what the question asked us to do. Vince, why, Lar? I'm not sure what you're asking about there, Vince. If you give me a little bit more information there, I'll answer that question for you. Okay, well, I'm waiting for you to write the first sentence of paragraph 1. Let me share a link with you. This link you'll actually find in the video description as well. So on Wednesdays, I have free live feedback lessons on Zoom for my email subscribers. So, I mean, very, very similar to these lessons. Very similar to these lessons where we just focus on one part of the IELTS test each lesson, but they're on Zoom. So obviously, you know, we can interact by speaking rather than just comment. So here's a link. You'll also find that link in the video description. So just sign up there. Is Lara a name? Or I didn't get that. Yeah, Lara is my name. My name is Lara. So Dimitri used my name for the start of the letter. Hassan, I came to know through your Facebook post that you're heading to my country for some work. No. I'd be interested to see what post you found. Not me anyway. I have no plans to move. I'm not even going to move outside the little town that I'm living in for the next couple of months, as far as I'm aware. I have no plans to go anywhere. No, Hassan. Hi, Fazal. Good to see you. It's been a long time. Welcome back. Okay, Dimitri, our common friend John told me yesterday that you are planning to come to Poland to live and work here. Fantastic. Okay, good. So let me just take Dimitri's answer here. Okay, so this is our first sentence. And what I like about this is it says exactly how you found out. The question is how you learned about this. And you said, John told me. Perfect. So we've done exactly what we need to do. One thing that I'd say here, though, is, you know, you're kind of writing the question. You're writing your answer for the examiner, right? And you're trying to explain who John is, you know, our common friend John. So you're trying to make sure that the examiner can follow the letter, but you don't need to do that. You just focus on this imaginary person that you're writing to. So you're writing to Lar. So for example, we're talking about Dimitri here at the moment, right? So Dimitri is writing a letter to Lar. And if Lar is your friend and John is your friend, Lar is going to know who John is. So we don't actually need to make that distinction. We don't need to make that clear that our common friend John told me yesterday. So what we could say is something like this. I was, sorry, typing off here. I was John yesterday, and he told me that you are planning to come to Poland to live and work here. Very good. And then obviously you're in Poland, so saying here makes sense because that's where you are. Okay, perfect. Okay, this is good. So like I said, we wanted a direct response to the prompt, how you found out, and now we know exactly how you found out. After that, the next goal is to develop that paragraph. So our paragraph needs to be somewhere about 60 words long. Okay. At the moment we have, one second now. At the moment we have 23 words long. So let's say we need about another 40 words, but we continue talking about this. So we don't talk about how excited we are. We don't talk about anything else. All we do is we talk about how we learned. So we're just continue talking about how we found out. Okay. So stay on topic and develop that paragraph. So about another 40 words about this point that we've just made here. So you can share that with me in the comments, and as usual, I'll have some feedback for you. I'll explain any issues that I can find. Aman, your mom rang me a few days ago, and from her, I came to know about your recruitment, about your job, let's say about your job or about your post in India. Since then, I am profoundly excited about your visit, as it has been so long that we haven't met each other. Do you know what? That's okay. And I just said not to talk about how excited you are, but I'm looking at that and it completely makes sense. That's actually fine. Because it's still on topic. It's still about you finding out and how your experience and how you feel about finding out. So even though I said don't go off topic, now that I read it, I can actually say that that's actually it's good development. It reads okay, and it doesn't feel like it's gone off topic. So I'm happy with that. So let's say since then. So let's say since finding out, and you need a capital letter. Especially for informal letters, we want to use conjunctions. So instead of I am, we're going to say I'm. Now, profoundly excited. Now, this is something very important. Something very important and something that I just want to make a kind of a clear point about here. If we're writing an informal letter like this one, and we use formal language like I'm profoundly excited, that's not something we would say in an informal situation. So you think like that's a small vocab mistake. It doesn't feel like a massive problem, but the reality is your task achievement score will be affected quite significantly by using informal language. Just one instance. So let's say in our full letter, our letter is going to be about 180 words. If there's just one informal term used, we're going to get a band 6 or lower. Well, a band 6 for task achievement. If there are many informal words used, that will bring it down further. So it's actually one of the most challenging things about general training IELTS is that, in task 1, if you're not already familiar with what words are formal and what words are informal, you think English is English, I'm just talking, and you don't realize which words are formal or informal. That can really, really have a big effect on your score. So this is what I would say is probably the most challenging part of general training. Task 1 is that if you use informal words, your task achievement score comes down quickly. And that means, especially if you're looking for a band 7 or higher, it could mean that, that becomes a much bigger challenge. So more informally, since finding out, I'm so excited about your visit. And then again, as would be too formal because it's, again, contractions when we can. It's been so long. I'm going to change this to after because I want to use since again down here. So after finding out, I've been so excited about your visit because it's been so long since we've met each other. Okay, good. So I don't think this is long enough yet. Let me just check. 43 words, so not long enough yet. We need a little bit more, but we're definitely getting there. Okay. Since this lessons on Zoom free? Yep, they're for free as well. Dimitri, I'm trying to find a better way to express the same meaning, work and live, but failed. Live and work. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with using the vocab from the question. You see, the thing is, you don't want to copy. You don't want to copy the full question, but using some of the words from the question is normal. I mean, even for somebody who's going to get a band 9, they'll have some of the words from the question in their essay. So what you did was you thought, okay, I want another way to say it. I don't know another way to say it, so I'm going to use the way they said it in the question. But what that means is it's correct and it's clear. I mean, that's better. What other students will do in this situation is they don't know another way to say it, but they just force themselves to do something else. So like they're going to, I'm definitely not copying the word from the question. I don't know another way to say it, but I don't care. I'm just not copying this. And they end up writing something that has a different meaning, or it's unclear, or something else. So sure, would it have been better if you could change it? Yes, it would be better. But would it have been worse if you wrote something that was incorrect, inaccurate, unclear? But that would have been worse. So you kind of have to take that into considerations. Like, copying it is not the worst thing you can do. Being unclear or inaccurate is the worst thing you can do. And of course, changing it is better than copying it. But you have to do the best you can with your current level. So I don't think you've done. I think you did the right thing. Is what I'm saying. Sir, is my idea fine? Yeah. So we looked at that already, Ahmad. Hi, Ahmad. I was having a little chat with our friend Noam the other day, and he mentioned that you got a job as an engineer here in Jordan, and that you're also looking for a place to live. Now, what I wouldn't do, everything is good. Everything you've written so far is good. But this thing about you're looking for a place to live, in our second paragraph, you can see the second prompt says, suggest a place for him or her to live. That's something that we need to discuss in paragraph 2. So if we start talking about that in paragraph 1, well, then either we have nothing to talk about in paragraph 2, or we start to repeat the same information in paragraph 2. So everything you've done is good, but I would not include that bit about the place to live in. We'll talk about that later. Aman. Okay, so we looked at that already. He said that the company were working in opens a new branch in Rocklaw. He said that the company you're working in. Oh. Okay. So we could add that. We can add that for sure, because our essay is still a bit short. Or sorry, our paragraph is still a bit short. So we'll take that little bit of text and we'll add it to what we have here already. Okay. He said, plan to come to Poland to live and work. And I'm going to add it here. Work. And that the company you're working for in is, okay, let's change this. Because the company you're working in is opening a new branch in, I'm not sure if that's the correct spelling. I'm not aware of that place. The company you're working for. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so that brings us to 56 words. Lovely, that's enough. Okay, so that's our first paragraph finished. Lovely job. And a nice little bit of collaboration there. We've bits of work from several different students. So that's nice. That rarely happens actually. So that's nice to see. All right. So so that's paragraph 1 finished. From there, we need to start paragraph 2. Paragraph 2 says, suggest a place for him or her to live. So again, I just want to start with the first sentence. And the reason I do this, instead of just saying write the paragraph, is I want us to focus on the prompt. So if you write a first sentence that doesn't make that suggestion that we've been asked to make, well, then you're going to have to make it in the next sentence. And then you're developing that later. So there isn't as much development of the point you've been asked to make. So it's not a strict rule of IELTS. It's just something I like my students to do. Respond in the first sentence, and then everything in your paragraph will be about the prompt. Whereas if you respond in the second sentence, then only half of your paragraph is developing the main idea. Okay, so just to explain why I want you to write the first sentence first. Okay, so I'll put it back to you guys first sentence for paragraph 2, share it with me in the comments, and then I'll have some feedback for you. Dimitri, super excited. Yeah, we could. Yeah, that's definitely informal. I'm so excited. I'm super excited. Yeah, we could definitely change that. And it keeps it nice and informal, so no doubt about it there. Good. Really excited is fine and appropriate. Yeah, definitely really excited would be perfect. Man, Lara, if in speaking exam, examiner asks why in every question and the candidate is giving reasoning for the same, then is it something that can lower one's band score? There's one part of the speaking test, one part of the requirements is that you're willing to develop your answers. So if you're giving short answers, like, let's say the question something like, like, what's your favorite day of the week? And you say Monday. Then the examiner is going to try and push you to say more and saying why. So you should never just give a short answer. You should always explain your answer. If you're not explaining your answers and the examiner is asking you why, then you're probably going to get a band 5 for fluency and coherence. But there will be some situations where you've explained your answer and you've kind of left it open with there's kind of like, your reason isn't fully explained. They might ask you to develop further. So it just depends. If they're asking for extra information after you've explained, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if they're asking for extra information because you've given a very short answer, that is something to worry about. Yeah, okay, man, no problem. Okay, and again, while I'm waiting for you, let me just share, I have one-on-one services as well. So one-on-one essay corrections, one-on-one courses. So for those of you, obviously, the support I'm giving you here is enough for a lot of you to get the scores you need. But if you need more one-on-one attention and if you need me to hold your hand a bit and, give you additional feedback and give you that extra attention, I have one-on-one corrections and IELTS courses. So again, there's the link. You'll find that in the comment. Or you can send me an email if you prefer. Hang on a second. That's my email address there, lar@completetestsuccess.com. Okay, so I have a response here from Dimitri. There is a lovely neighborhood in downtown Raclaw with ancient style houses and a small lake, and I'm sure you'll like it too. Okay, so I like the detail, but I want to make it more obvious that I am telling my friend where they should live or making a suggestion. So what you've written, I like a lot of it, but let me copy and paste it. I'll explain it more clearly. So, just in case our friend thinks that you're suggesting, a nice place to go for a walk, like we want to make it really, really clear. Okay, so let's say something like this. John also mentioned that you still need to find a place to stay. And so now I've just set the context. So, I'm talking about a place for you to stay. I'm not just randomly talking about this neighborhood. Okay, so then from there we can say everything you said. There's a lovely neighborhood in downtown Rocklaw. I know I'm saying that wrong, apologies. With ancient style houses and small lake, and I'm sure you'll like it too. And I'm sure, let's just make this a little bit more relevant to the point that we're making. And I'm sure you'd love living there. Okay, so then that's just to make it just that bit more cohesive. We'll just change that bit as well. So overall, the information you included is good, but we just want to point that information towards the prompt and make it very clear that we are actually responding to the prompt. All right, so that's 37 words. So most of that paragraph written in that one sentence. So really good work there, Dimitri. So what we need now is about another 20 words to finish that paragraph. So from there, how would you develop the rest of paragraph 2? So what would be the other 20 words that you'd include? All right, I just want to make this text a little bit smaller so that we can see the question in the paragraph at the same time. Okay. Need to make that a bit smaller as well. Okay. So the reason it's important to look at the question because, everything we write has to be within the context of the situation that has been presented in the question. So we can't just, change the context. So it is important to, stay looking at what the question has asked us to talk about, make sure that we don't drift outside the situation that has been described in the question. So whenever you're writing your letter, you can't just get your idea and just run with it and say anything you want. It still has to be relevant to the situation described in the question. Okay. So as I said, how can we develop the rest of this paragraph? Just share your comments. And again, I'll have a bit more feedback for you there. Hi, Mohammed. Morning from London. Good. I was about to write it in the second sentence. Is it okay? Oh, so to put the context in, I'd no. Yes and no. For me, I prefer just to make it really, really clear why we're saying what we're saying. So yeah, if you had got to it later, but for your coherence and cohesion, really, Dimitri, it wouldn't have been the best option. But still, you would have for task achievement, you would have met the criteria. But for coherence and cohesion, it wouldn't be as cohesive and it wouldn't be as easy to follow. And you're very welcome. Okay, Ahmad, of course, you would need a cozy place to live in, but I would advise you not to look for a realtor's help. Most are rip-offs. Instead, I'd be more than willing to offer you a room in my apartment. You know I live alone. So to be honest, everything you're doing is fine. There's nothing wrong with the organization. But again, I just have this thing where I always want my students to put the response to the prompt in the first sentence. So what you're doing isn't wrong. You're addressing the prompt and you're doing it properly. My concern is sometimes if you don't address the prompt in the first sentence, not you specifically, but sometimes when students don't address the prompt in the first sentence, they forget to come back to it, or they only come to it at the very last sentence. So there isn't really any development of the prompt itself. It's more development of other stuff that you haven't been asked to talk about. So what you've done is actually perfect. There's some vocab and grammar mistakes there, but in relation to the organization and the task achievement, coherence and cohesion, it's all good. Just not the way I teach my students to do it. That's all. Dimitri, another thing about this area is that it is located so conveniently that you'd be able to get anywhere in no time. Okay. So again, let me copy that, Dimitri. Okay. Another thing about this area is that it is located so conveniently, let's say like in the center of the city, that you'd be able to get, so that you'd be able to get now anywhere, be able to get anywhere, you'll be able to go anywhere that you'd be go anywhere is a bit open. I'd like to say the types of places that we want to say. That you'll be able that you'd be, let's say, close to the amenities that you'd need. You'd be, let's say, like incredibly close to any amenities that you'd need. Something like that, instead of anywhere. Maybe I'm being a bit anal here, but obviously it's not anywhere. But also when you say that, people would know exactly what you're talking about. But I prefer just to make it that bit clearer. But overall, really, really strong work from you here today, Dimitri. Okay, so that's 66 words. So again, that's enough. We've done everything we need to do here. And that brings us to our final prompt. So again, I'll get you guys to write the first sentence for me first. So write the first sentence of paragraph 3. And again, we'll add it to the letter we have on screen, and we'll build up from there. You'll be able to get wherever you want in no time. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. You'll be able to get wherever you need in no time. You'll be able to get wherever you need in no time. I'll just say wherever you need rather than wherever you want, because again, it just kind of ties it back into, probably like going shopping, whatever other amenities you'd want, going to the cinema, going to the gym, whatever it might be. So it just kind of fits the context a little bit more. But yeah, definitely that works very well. Okay, so we're on to first sentence of paragraph 3. Oh, I've just noticed a mistake. The last prompt says describe how he or she can find a job. So we've actually gone outside the context of the question. We've made a mistake here, because in paragraph 1 earlier on, we said because the company you're working for is opening a new branch. So that means that you've already got a job. Whereas the last prompt says describe how he or she can find a job. So what's happened here is I didn't read ahead. I didn't look at the last prompt. And now I've included something that that shouldn't be here. So we've gone outside the context of the question. So this is wrong. So come here because so we're going to need another reason. It's not because you found a job. It's because, you know, you told me that you're planning to come to Poland to live and work here because you're hoping that living here will improve your ability to speak Polish. Okay, so we just include a different reason and now we're okay again. But if we'd gone outside the context, well, now the situation that we're describing isn't the same situation that the question has described. So that's not okay. So we make that change. And now that we're trying to describe how he or she can find a job, it makes sense. We're not going to describe, we're not going to describe to someone who already has a job how to find a job. So that would have been problematic for our score. So problem there was I didn't read the question in advance. So I did something I shouldn't have done, and my score could have suffered if I hadn't noticed and gone back and fixed that. Dimitri, I understand that you also need to find a job in the city, so look no further than the popular local newspaper, Navini, to find vacancies. Okay, good. Dimitri, you're holding this lesson together today. We're getting everything out of you. Good job. All right, so we'll start with this. I understand that you also need to find a job in the city. Let's just say find a job. So look no further than. So I recommend that you. Now this look no further is a nice phrase, but I think we'll use that later. So I'm gonna put that down here, and I'm gonna use it as part of my development. So I'd recommend that you search the local newspaper Navini to find a vacancy. And then the development, I like this look no further. It's a good phrase and I want to use it. So I can honestly say that there's no need to look any further than that newspaper because almost every company in the city uses it to recruit new employees. Okay, so I know I'm not supposed to be the one writing this. I want you to write it, but I did like that phrase, don't look any further. So that's how we would squeeze that in there. I think for the moment, just recommend the newspaper first. Okay, so with that, we have, let me just check here now, 52 words. So we need about another 10 words. It might be a 10-word sentence, probably end up writing a little bit more, but that would be okay. So how would we develop the rest of paragraph 3? So we're very nearly finished already, but give me your ideas and I'll be able to add those to the screen here as well. Hi, Farhan. Welcome. We're very nearly finished. We just need to write one more sentence here and we're finished paragraph 3, Farhan. So you might want to watch the recording once we're finished here. Ekta, hello, good afternoon, sir. Actually, I'm preparing for IELTS exam and due to financial issues, I couldn't join IELTS class and I have difficulties in writing task 1 and task 2 academic. Yeah, so just join the live stream, participate. I'll be able to show you what mistakes you're making. You're after coming a little bit late today, Ekta, so you'll need to watch the recording. The recording will go up as soon as the live stream is finished. But if you get here on time, you'll be able to participate and I'll be able to give you feedback. I'll be able to explain your problems. And, you know, once you start fixing your problems, that's when your score starts to improve. If you prefer looking for a job online, you can find enough options. So yes and no. Yes, but also we just said the opposite thing. So I just said that you don't need to look any further. There's no need to look any further. So, you know, why would I then suggest looking online? So I'm going to take what you said, Dimitri, but I'm going to change it a little bit just to match the context. Oh, you just deleted it. Okay, I'll just delete it. Okay, so like, let's say it is possible to look for work online, but you'll find that there are fewer jobs posted on any of the online sites, something like that. Okay, so from there, we've finished our 3 paragraphs. We've written about every prompt. So the final thing we need to do is to write the sign-off. So again, I'll get you guys to write the sign-off because there are mistakes that can be made in this part, even though it's the very last bit of the essay. It's not that complicated, but we still need to consider the fact: are we writing a letter, a formal letter, an informal letter, and adapt our sign-off based on that. On Instagram to text you, but I didn't find Instagram. I don't even know. A complete test success probably, or maybe Lara Ryan. One of those. I'm not even sure, to be honest. I'm not on Instagram all that much. I'll have a look for you here now. Yeah, complete _ test _ success. So I'm on Instagram. Probably easier to find me on Facebook, or you can just send me an email as well, lar@completetestsuccess.com. I use email a lot more. Like I'll check Facebook like once a day. I have email open in front of me, for the earlier part of the day. So I'll see a lot more. I'll see a lot more there. Yeah, this is my email here now. lar@completetestsuccess.com. Okay, so I'm not getting any responses here about the sign off. So hang on, I have a message from my man, and then I'll just write the sign off myself if I don't get any responses. You mean to say whatever is asked in the bullet points, we need to write answering direct to each given bullet point? 100%, man. Yeah, if you're not going to get you're not going to get a high task achievement score if you're not talking about the things you've been asked to talk about. So basically your task achievement score is checking, can you talk about what you've been asked to talk about, or do you just talk about something completely different? Is it coherent? You know, does it respond directly? So yeah, it's very, very important. That's really the main purpose of task achievement, is to see if you're doing that. Ekta, you're very welcome. Okay, so I'm going to jump in. I'm going to finish off this. I'm going to finish off this letter. I'm going to say kind regards. No, what will I say? Best wishes, excuse me. So it's an informal letter. Best wishes, and then we just sign off with our own name. I think Dimitri's written most of this, so let's jump in with Dimitri. That's how your name is spelled in the comments anyway, Dimitri. So we'll just copy that, and that's it. That's the full essay. That's it. We're done. So that's what our essay would look like. Sign on. About 60 words for the first prompt. About 60 words for the second prompt. About 60 words for the third prompt. Sign off, only first name, not your surname, because it's an informal letter. That's it. We did it. All done. Good job. Okay. So that's it for today. Like I said, I have a live feedback lesson tomorrow. So I'll see you guys there if you're joining me for that. If you haven't already signed up, you'll find the link in the video description. I'll be back next week with another live stream. So if you're not joining me tomorrow, I'll see you here on Tuesday next week. Okay, so that's it. Take care, everybody. Well done. If any of you have tests coming up, best of luck with that. Okay, bye-bye. Take care of yourselves. See ya.